What is up, runners? I know I was going to do the maps of marathons, what I was talking about in the last main video. However, I've run into some issues where I kind of want to wait until the network test comes out so I can get footage that is very specific to the map to kind of do walkthroughs of the maps with you while I'm describing them. So I'm putting off the maps video for a little bit longer, and instead I wanted to go into the stats, cores, and implants route because I want to talk about vendors soon, and this is a very pivotal building block for the rest of the game and how it functions. Buildcrafting is perhaps Marathon's biggest selling point, as the pure variety of options you can alter for your character makes it incredibly unique. We're going to dive into the deep end today, looking at stats, cores, and implants, and how they can be used to create a build all your own for your chosen shell. Weapons and weapon attachments are also important things to consider, but they're going to get their own video later on. This video is going to be focused on building up your raw character power first, and not really worrying about the weapons. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe down below to catch up on more marathon videos as we get closer and closer to launch, and consider sharing it with your friends to get them more interested in marathon. Let's go ahead and start with stats today. These are your basic building blocks that dictate everything from your loot speed to your fall damage taken. Every shell has its own distinct stat spread based on their intended role. They scale from 0 to 100, and these raw stats can be modified by implants and faction upgrades. While the exact percentages are not known to us, we do have two batches of stats to review. First, the Alpha had the following stats. Self-repair speed. This stat influences the rate at which you passively heal over time. This is actually a mechanic in Marathon, even with the healing items, it's just really slow at a low stat. Agility increases your movement speed and jump height. We haven't seen the upper limits of this for now, or how it will impact your traversal, but there are assumedly some jumps where you need high agility, or where it at least makes it easier, and the additional move speed is all around just a good buff to have. Heat capacity increases the amount of stamina you have, basically. When your heat bar is full, you overheat and are locked out of anything that would use heat. Mainly used for sprinting and sliding, some characters will have abilities or passives that can use their heat bar as well. The hardware stat reduces the duration of physical debuffs applied to your character, including things like Immobilize, Overheat, and Toxin. Firewall is a mirror of hardware, reducing the duration of technical debuffs applied to your character, including EMP or Hacked. Finisher Siphon is one of my favorite stats, as it dictates the amount of shield energy you regenerate when you perform a finisher on a downed player. This is not instant but very fast compared to self-repair speed. Loot speed intuitively increases the rate that items are revealed while you are looting. Higher stat here means that you're going to have more time to loot more containers and less time per box. Revive speed does what it says in the tin, however it's actually useful in solo and groups, as this stat increases the speed that you revive your teammates or the speed that you use a self-revive kit. Now in the Vision of Marathon Vidoc, we can see there are more stats added to the character screen, which were present in the alpha but not shown. They are the following. Melee damage, which will probably increase your knife damage per hit. Prime recovery, which will improve your cooldown on your prime ability or your ultimate. Tactical recovery, which does the same for your tactical ability. And fall resistance, which decreases fall damage separately from agility. Now, like I said, every runner is going to have their own spread of these stats, and these stats will be increased over the course of the season as you upgrade your vendors. Cores are the major upgrades you can select from that provide unique capabilities to your runner. Some of these cores are class specific and others are class agnostic. They are a similar caliber as aspects in Destiny, as they provide unique benefits or conversions to abilities. They do not have a direct stat benefit on equipping them, but they can still improve your performance. Shell-specific cores tend to provide boosts to your tactical, prime, or passives, and class-agnostic cores provide a slightly lower power boost to capabilities such as melees or consumables. For our runner-specific cores, I have a couple examples here. We have the Gold Samaritan Medic mod, where sharing a medical consumable with your shareware.exe reduces the cooldown on your next med drone. This means using one of your passive abilities will give you your active ability back. Next we have the Blue Vandal mod Mechanized Holsters. This makes it so your Power Slide reloads your ballistic weapons from reserves and recharges a portion of your Volt weapon's current battery. Another Blue Vandal mod here we have Blast Off. Knockback no longer deals self-damage, instead you launch yourself away. Finally we have the Blue Destroyer mod Myrmidon. After using your thrusters, your melee damage is increased. So like I said, it doesn't directly increase your melee stat for having it equipped, but it does give you an ability that then increases your melee damage substantially. Looking at our classic Gnostic options, we have things such as the Big Score, which is a white rarity core, which provides a huge boost to loot speed after unlocking a locked door or container, and Prowl Kit, which provides a boost to move speed and reload while you are crouched. Then we have Dr. Killjoy, which is a green, which allows your finisher siphon stat to also heal your regular health on a finisher, in addition to its base behavior of shield healing. Then we have Tox Injectors, which is another green, and allows your heavy knife melee to poison the enemy. As you can see, these classic Gnostic ones are still powerful, but they have more specific things they address than the somewhat more powerful sounding class-specific ones. Finally, implants are a selection of mods that directly change your stat spread, have a selection of randomized benefits, and will be divided into head, torso, and leg implants. Thanks to being classic Gnostic, these implants are a consistent method to customize your stat spread regardless of the shell. The main benefit of implants is their stat impact, which can be a set of buffs, or an even larger set of buffs with a nerf to other stats. These will be your go-to method of building a specific stat spread and enabling you to set up a series of dump stats to then increase the stats you really want for your setup. As an example, this Hot Swap V2 provides a direct, non-stat based buff to your swap speed and ADS speed, as well as plus 10 ping duration stats, while the Hot Swap V1 provides only the handling and ADS speed buff. Distance Runner V2 reduces your handling and ADS speed in exchange for more heat capacity. Distance Runner V3 gives you improved heat capacity by 25, but reduces your ping duration by 10. Regen V2 provides plus 30 self-repair speed and plus 10 revive speed. And Bionic Leg Upgrades V5 allows you to sprint faster after leaping from great heights, has a reduction to explosive and melee damage from UESC, and gives plus 50 agility, plus 20 finisher siphon, and minus 10 self-repair speed. So when we're talking about making a build in Marathon, your chosen shell is the baseline stat package you're going to be working with. Your cores are going to be the big hitter, playstyle defining customization that decides what special capabilities you have compared to other player kits. And finally, your implants allow you to fine-tune or rework your stat package to maximize your cores or minimize your weaknesses. Let's make up a quick example to show how these can be worked into a semi-coherent loadout. We're going to make a close-range destroyer loadout. We haven't discussed weapons and time to kill yet because I want to reserve opinions until the first public test so we can review how the TTK has changed since the alpha, but the knife was a surprisingly lethal and consistent option in April's alpha, and in Bungie's release footage, it still looks to be competent. Due to this, I would like to make a build that can close the gap, secure a fast kill either with shotguns or with melee, and recover enough to engage another 1v1 quickly. Destroyer's base stats from the alpha show us he has a fair self-repair speed, agility, heat capacity, revive speed, and finisher siphon, good hardware and firewall, and low looting speed. These stats will all improve over time as you upgrade vendors, but with this information, I know I want to focus on cores and implants that will increase melee damage, but I also want to increase my heat capacity to give me extra thruster activations, sprint time, and melee capabilities before running out of stamina. Agility to increase my move speed and jump height to get the most out of every moment sprinting, and Finisher Siphon. If this was not a close range build, Finisher Siphon is less important, but part of the focus here is to secure the finisher after downing a player to quickly recover shields and health. We are hopefully going to play too aggressively for self-repair speed to come into play, which should keep enemies on their toes. This means I'm willing to take negative stats to self-repair and dump the stat for benefits elsewhere. For reference from my experience in the alpha, Finisher Siphon feels like it was a 1-to-1 exchange, where 10 points in Finisher Siphon would give you 10 shield points regardless of the actual capacity of your shield. For our cores, I have one green Classic Gnostic core and one blue Destroyer core. Dr. Killjoy will allow our Finisher Siphon stat to heal our health whenever it heals our shields, giving us at least double the value for our Finisher Siphon stat. This does not require a specific method of downing someone, so it'll work with shotguns and melee, or even SMG builds. Our rare core will be Myrmidon, which Bungie has shown greatly increases your melee damage after a thruster boost. This should let you fire both shots from your double barrel shotgun, then use thrusters to close the distance and secure the kill assuming they survived. Or you could simply use this to rush a player you know has a sniper, immediately start wailing on them with your knife, and then kill them in 2 to 3 swings. Then, since you're already on top of the enemy, you're free to execute them with the finisher with minimal downtime to reposition. That then secures you your finisher siphon and heals you up a good chunk. If we then look for implants, disregarding their actual slots for the sake of demonstration, Bionic Leg Upgrade V5 would increase our speed, reduce damage taken from AI, provide a huge bump to agility for even more speed, and a 20 finisher siphon for healing more health. The minus 10 self-repair penalty is more than acceptable. We compare that with Distance Runner V3, which gives a boost to heat capacity for more thrusters and more melees, and decreasing our ping duration, which is an easy stat to let drop on Destroyer. Finally, I don't have an example to give you of this, but we want an implant that will increase your melee stat if possible. This would make at least a decent pairing that rewards aggressive play and makes it easier to get in close to the enemy. Now, some of these implants and cores may not be available at merchants, so you can't guarantee you're always going to be able to run a specific build. However, with the knowledge on how these building blocks function, you're going to be better able to make the most of the loot that you find as you find it in match. That is going to be it for today, looking into our preview of stats, implants, and cores today, runners. Let me know down below if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any build ideas that you want to try and make work once Marathon comes out. There has to be dozens, if not hundreds, of different combinations of implants and cores that we haven't even seen or been hinted at yet that we're going to find when the game comes out. So obviously, it's going to take some time and luck to find all the possible combinations and identify the best builds, but now you're going to be able to find those things on your own and hopefully make some good builds in the meantime. Following this video, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the factions in Marathon, so please look forward to that coming out in the next week. I will see you all again very, very soon.